Right. Welcome to good evening. I was on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. It's 5 p.m. here in Ghana, and obviously, yeah, the holiday second edition today, bro. There have been a lot of updates in the last few hours. Because still, uncha codes now you go in the description of the video now. Michelle, go to the description of this video. This very video I make once a week. Go and pick up the codes if I go show better app now. You can also find them our Facebook, our Twitter, our WhatsApp channels, various Fiifi-Manfred WhatsApp channels, Telegram Fiifi-Manfred channel. Go and pick up those codes and give yourself a good chance of winning, because then it definitely both in the Club World Cup and in the Women's Euros, we are winning big. We are winning very, very big parts. So don't, and bro, give yourself a very good chance of winning something. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Yeah, the name is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Your best football, tactical, pre-match, post-match analysis channel. The best plays on YouTube for each other, the best of updates about us. Also, the most consistent. We are constantly up with you in all of the updates. Send a baby, come on. And Yabba back. I was very excited. Said in the last video, all of you agree that the sound is way, way better. And it's our commitment to you to consistently. We do a lot of investments. We make sure that the sound, everything, quality was and Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Someone subscribe, yeah, subscribe, turn on notifications, keep me turn on. Do choose all. Send them anytime their content ever drop. What have you are first to have it. I was on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Charlie, I think that's right. And then Portuguese national team in the last few hours have said, say, they will also try to retire the national team jersey of Abrantia, your friend of Diogo Jota, and they'll do a monument on Charlie. A very, very, very sad story for Diogo Jota. There was this picture I saw of Jordan Henderson, the former captain of Liverpool and the former teammate of Abrantia friend Diogo Jota, where Jordan is in Liverpool, he's on a Liverpool. He lives in Liverpool. Wako baby, Liverpool for a pay tribute to Abrantia friend Diogo Jota, and he went to lay some flowers there to also pay his tribute, and he was distraught. He was crying, and then Charlie, the people we live with today, we should express all the love that we can. We should be as patient as we can. We should be as tolerant as we can, because and easy. And Diogo Jota is gone today. The Liverpool family are mourning, and all of us in the football fraternity, we are also mourning with them. That is the update over the Liverpool fans now going there consistently to pour out stuff over there. I've been thinking, can this really worry them next season in terms of achieving on targets, and or it's not really something that will affect them? I think Liverpool have to manage a lot of things when it comes to Diogo Jota issues with our club and how Sani Manema is, they didn't expect this to happen for club itself, Liverpool and all of these things that are going on. They definitely did not expect this to happen to them. But we'll see how Liverpool will manage things. Like they have to. The players will have to move on from Charlie. Okay, Andy Robertson tributes now. Watch Rama Diogo Jota now. Charlie, you kind of get a feeling that Diogo was really, really loved all through the club. You get understanding that they didn't play with him. They gave him a lot of love. They respected him and everything. Everything that he did over the club there at Liverpool, one of them. It definitely is going to affect the team. For even a lot of people outside of football try to affect them. Nyamete and he's a Chelsea player friend, Pedro Neto, regardless of the fact that he wants to play for Abrantia friend Diogo Jota. So and hopefully get a goal for Nadam for Niniano. For what his brother has gone through, he wants to try and see if he will get a good goal for Abrantia friend Diogo Jota. We'll see how things have gone on. There has also been an update on Abrantia friend Partey. See, before I go into the details of Partey issue, let me say this. In every charge or in every conversation that is deemed criminal, let us not forget, say nobody is found guilty until proven otherwise. Everybody is innocent until proven otherwise. So we'll talk assuming that Partey is innocent. We are talking based on the charges on the man. See, actually, it has been long. Maybe people do not remember when the story started. Now, a lot of the things that happened around the time when this Partey issue came up, Partey decided, and Partey's management did a very good job at keeping a lot of things under the wrap. From the Emmanuel involved point of view, one of the women mentioned at some point in time, to me, any echo somewhere outside of England, I think somewhere in Ibiza or so, there was a Moroccan woman mentioned in there where there was some sexual assault, there was rape, there was all of these things that apparently Thomas Partey did. And who set the charge now? The British Crown Police and the Aboyiniana. And yet just one charge. I think it's about, and yet just about I think it's about 3 women and 5 separate charges. I think 1 count of sexual assault and 2 separate counts of rape. And the money 5 charges of the Aboyiniana. I think that near a money a little bit intriguing is the fact that Partey was almost signing a contract extension at Arsenal. So at times where Partey will be playing at Emirates where planes will fly and then will reach, get that piece off my club. It used to happen a lot of the times that Abrana Partey. In fact, so a lot of people, they think that Thomas Partey quickly went to settle down with his wife and then start to build a family when these things began to come. Apparently, it was Arsenal pushing to do that. So settle down quickly with Obama and it. Then all of these things now. Even in court, you can argue that, oh no, or bow, and he has a family, so you won't do stuff like that. But all of these things happened before the current Thomas Partey situation. And just when Partey's contract ended at Arsenal Football Club, 3 days after that, and then on the 4th of July, the news have broke in England and also across the world, say Partey has been charged. Apparently he lives in a British community called Sahersford or so, and apparently Partey is probably going to be arrested and they'll go through the investigations and stuff like that. I think there are a lot of the people, the questions they're asking that so Arsenal board didn't knew this. And maybe that is why they didn't extend the contract for him or they didn't give him what he wanted in the contract. Because for a lot of us, this thing had gone to sleep. Because there was a time where I read something on the fact that Partey made these women sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement after they accepted it's okay, and then they won't move on with it. If really there is an issue of rape, then it can be a long time for a friend Thomas Partey. I've been away from that. Again, going back to the fact that nobody is guilty until proven otherwise. We need to understand. Remember the case of a friend Benjamin Mendy, when Benjamin at some point in time was accused, went on all of these things. At the end of the day, Benjamin was found not guilty in a lot of these things that happened over there. My only problem is that Partey probably will not get a club anytime soon. Even if he gets a club, they are going to terminate the contract if investigations properly begin and he has to be going there. It will affect and truncate his football career. It can take almost a year or 2 to go through all of these things. Charlie, it's probably going to be a long and winding curve in Thomas Partey's career as a footballer, especially given everything that he has been through and where he has come from as a player. It'll be a long process for Thomas Partey. And I mean, 2 separate counts of rape, any 1 count of sexual assault, any small thing to deal with over there. I mean, we want to believe, say, Partey any guilty, and then his parties will be able to manage everything that goes on with him. Seminar ban. Your mom say you will be able to deal with that. See, if you're a Barcelona fan, I think that it's important for people to understand this. That there was no way Nico Williams would have decided to walk into something that he didn't know. A lot of Barca for GD say, in fact, the reports in Spain, any Basque region on them, in fact, local Basque people, according to Fabrizio report, say they didn't even know, say, Abrante's friend Nico Williams had extended his contract. In fact, all of them found out from social media. Barca also did not know. Barca found out from social media. And now Gerard Moreno was saying, but he wants to tell a lot of the fans on Twitch, say, the negotiations are stalled from the sources. I think that when Barca fans say, oh, Nico Williams a player, and he used them to get what he wanted out, you can understand where they are coming from. Because for a lot of Barcelona fans, Nico Williams at some point in time was flirting with Real Madrid. Now at some point in time, told on one agent, say, Uncle Barca for him. Nongo can show say he wants to play for Barcelona. So what can they do to play for Barcelona? Deco was on holiday. Felix Tahin, they had a discussion. They discussed extensively. They agreed that, okay, say. Now, there was aggression from the part of Barca, Athletic Bilbao fans, and Omakase, Nico Williams will be a traitor if he leaves the club and stuff like that. And I think that for every Barcelona fan, the idea is that Nico Williams has played the club. Maybe sometimes also that can be true. It can be true that Felix Tianta really played the club, put the ball in good position, and then get what he wanted from Athletic Club de Bilbao. The only thing is that there was no time where Athletic Club de Bilbao had contract disagreements with him. The contract of an on-person demand has always been there. It has been the same. It has not changed over the course of it. They are not told him, so more money. I mean, for every Barcelona fan, you understand that in the backs area, people want to play for Athletic Club on-person ball because per club. And yet because, Athletic Club is there be. And it is also true, say, Barca financial situations now have improved. And I'll say this, say, a couple of years ago, Abraham Barca aired a deal for Rafinha, Jules Koundé. For me, I really got to understand and accept that Matthew Alemany, Hodi Cruyff, and these guys were top guys in terms of financial engineering. I've said it extensively several times, the quality that these guys bring into the various teams that they had been in. But it's also understandable that say Oshe from the point of view of legality, baby and boy any free bar say, oh, say mo say ampampa, mo beti me register me dia. Me dia makache mo say me premo. Mo mbrambe farming. Release clause no clear mo beti me etia. But se mo beti me register me a, mo fan shemu say mo intimi register me because so say be you assume full responsibility. Baby and Felix Tianta and any client no mo free bar no. Because they wanted Barca to assume full responsibility. And you have been a catch is okay. Went to me and registered into different club remember for 62 million. What if the registration time is not by that time near season maybe, and you were still telling the Uber register on to Barca register on to Barca we are in the season because there are 2 or 3 separate registration windows in the La Liga. The one when the season starts, you might have to certain time for it to register all the players, and then that closes. What if it gets close and then the time for somebody to cough up 62 million not adding? What if by that time all of these clubs buying Chelsea, Obi upper left winger Biano might have gone in there and bought other options because this young man has signed for FC Barcelona? Because you don't control those clubs. You don't come here and say it's okay just because Nico Williams is a player, team we are all of a sudden. What if the clubs will know Nico Williams panel by that? Because we are all assuming by that point in time they had bought all the players that are options on the market. What if by that time now buying any breakthrough with Luis Diaz? What if by that time other clubs would have gotten Marcus Rashford? What if Garnacho had gone to Napoli? What if all of these things had happened? Now, on also impact club no bit 62 million. Now, what would he have done? So what Nico Williams said was that it is true. Yeah, maybe the Felix Tianta might have played them, but also do understand it from the Nico Williams point of view. Say, okay, in all of these things, what I was over signing, how could you release clause? Mama, the power of the attorney. People don't understand the power of attorney. When somebody gives you the power of attorney, like a mini gun, I'm still being cocaine university and concluding a certificate, I give them the power of attorney. I can write, I can do it in writing. I can give it my lawyer to represent me. So that person is literally representing you. Into amount of power of attorney, how could you release clause tell you? But you that holds all the cards because now the player is a player. Even outside contract component, you can even say that you increase it. Yes, I know that people say, okay, Barca's counter offer was that you better work on the same 62 million you told your Athletic Club. But like I'm saying, have they dealt with the what ifs? No. So the player, I'm very certain, say Nico Williams wanted to play for Barcelona. Nobody can convince me. Say Nico didn't want to play for Barcelona. Nobody can convince me, say Nico Williams, but Connor will play the club. It can happen, it could have been the case, but it is more likely that Nico wanted to play for him. There were a lot of ties. Okay, so all of a sudden, Nico played every single person in the Barcelona dressing room. Nico played Lamine Yamal, he played Rafinha, played everybody. No, they knew the boy wanted to come. They knew that Nico Williams really wanted to come. But it comes down to legality. I understand people always argue as fans, which is okay. But the legality is that Felix Tianta and the boys' family were never going to allow the boys sign a contract when they didn't have assurances. Barca the registration for Abante for Nico Williams. It was always going to be difficult, always going to be tight. And immediately that did not happen. The boy decided that, Charlie, let me just call Athletic Club and tell them that I want to play for Barcelona. And he has done just that. And then Nico Williams is staying on for almost 90 million plus as a new release clause. And he's going to be there for 10 years. Our club for an electric club. But again, the 10 years doesn't matter. I keep on saying, especially in Spain, the duration of the contract doesn't matter. And it's a buy and sell opener. There is no time frame with the release clause. They can go and trigger it and then get the boys power of attorney, go there, and then he becomes a buying player. It does not matter. But that's the amount of money that's in them. I think at this point in time, important say Barca will begin to turn away from say almost focusing on what the boy did, what the boy didn't do, and all of those things. I think it's time. See, Barcelona here brilliant job. One Laporta here, Juma from Spotify camp now, from getting Juan Garcia, from the team that they built in those financial difficulties that the club was in and everything. I think that Barcelona has done a brilliant job. A job that you can't take anything at all away from them. You give them the credits that they do deserve as a club. But at this point in time, it's important that Barcelona move on from the Nico Williams saga no, and then go on probably to go and find another option on the market. Marcus Rashford or on Luis Diaz, Liverpool would have been a little bit difficult to deal with. But then Luis Diaz is also still on the market. Can they go and get him? And obviously, they will be able to go and get him. So I think Barcelona would have to move on. I don't know if you've heard that, but then Florentino Perez are promising Madrid players and says almost a club World Cup now. Will be at 1 million euros. 1 million euros. Charlie. Free cash or extra cash. And I think that that's a very, very good motivation for players. These guys, they have money, but then extra money doesn't kill anybody. On the person being say extra money now, Florentino Perez at the moment, if they're able to win the Club World Cup now. And anyway, Chelsea airboy a big game against Palmeiras, and the tactical plan of Enzo Maresca obviously has to be spoken about. The coach of Palmeiras, a Portuguese international. Ono NMA Abrantia, your friend Pedro Neto, the first game, the first debut as a senior player, our Braga. Now, inside game, Pedro Neto came on and he scored. Today he's going to be on the dugout against him. Palmeiras wondering how they have been playing. Obviously, it's a team that you need to be very careful of. Chelsea for new boy, friend Estevao William is going to be in that team. Estevao Nangasaka say he fancies playing against Chelsea. Ojiri said in playing against Chelsea, obviously, he dreamt about it, a big opportunity for him. In an interview, and then, since we didn't come on the ball, a little bit closer to a branch of friend Lionel Messi. And then the end, he said, Cristiano Ronaldo, Mola Nibino. Now, ono Ojitum say Obetinyaji Ballon d'Or because he's on the level of Lamine Yamal more and it's our boys to Obetinyaji Ballon d'Or, but so Ballon d'Or nibi. I mean, it's a long shot to the Ballon d'Or, and yes, simple things are say unya free Brazil, but Chelsea just now. And that's why being said, say, even for the player, on certain do the level where you think that your world beaters all of a sudden, none man we can call now a branch of William and Bra. It won't be a wise thing to do. But you look at it in the context of where Chelsea are as a club, what they want to do as a club, and the fact that they want depth. You keep Noni, you keep Estevao William, you allow them to go together. There are lots of games about so possible injuries, possible suspensions, 60 game, fatigue, a whole lot of things that can go on, personal reasons, anything that you don't have a full control of that. And of course, because of that, you need to be able to bring in all of these two players to be able to play well over there. I think that the biggest hurdle, tactical hurdle, Enzo Maresca will face is the unavailability of Moises Caicedo and then the absence of Abrantes friend Romeo Lavia. Odin come on the pre-match press conference, he said, Oshe Romeo Lavia, a muscle fatigue can when now and said I'm a big deal. So it means that maybe Lavia can be in the match day score today. It means that Lavia may pass a late fitness test today and then he will play. I must say in the last game, Lavia Philly big crack on them, but then it's nothing to worry about. In the part of Moises Caicedo, Dario Sugo with team. Now the hunk of 4 possible lineups where in the middle of the pack, Enzo Maresca may probably invert Reece James to come inside next to Abrantes, your friend Enzo Fernandez. Tactically, maybe this is an opportunity for Enzo Maresca to, play with Abrantes' friend Enzo Fernandez as a deep line playmaker. Somebody that controls the game from deep. Somebody that recycles the play in the absence of him. Because he didn't say Enzo Fernandez can do that. for a very long time, Enzo Fernandez abo as a connector, or as an 8. No, Abeji Monica in the half space. And in the half 10, he's a very, very good player in terms of receiving the ball from such zones and then playing forward. And so maybe that's how Enzo Maresca can use him. It's a huge opportunity. Another permutation of the midfield, can be said maybe one Shane Enzo Maresca will start Kenan Duisby Hall, any Abrante friend of his James Inverted. I don't know. So Chelsea, after I run you through this, I want to know how you think Enzo Maresca should set up the team today. Send up Enzo Maresca and burn a ball. On ball with Kenan Duisby Hall or team name. Not for his James Inverted. I know a lot of Chelsea fans don't like it when Reece is inverting. And who's our interview, where Reece almost says that he likes to play as a fullback that flies, a flying fullback that goes up and down the touchline. But for some reason, he held on and said, okay, he doesn't want to talk about that right now. Maybe it can be tactical. Maybe because Enzo Maresca has told him that he doesn't want them to discuss those things in the public because it affects the team style of play. Let people know how Enzo Maresca is going to set up. And then a lot of opponents will prepare like that against them when it comes to that. All of these dynamics are there. Also, I think that this is a game where maybe Maresca should play Enzo Fernandez deeper, play with Dario Sugo, and use Enzo Fernandez more as the deep line playmaker, like I'm saying, but not invert Reece. Let Reece also still be part of the building three, which then you have Reece, Levi Cole, then you have Benoit Benachile, Prez, so that will affect that style of play. But then, like Chelsea did the last time, have that three there, push Marco Correa up front, then play Kupama from the left half space inside, then have Enzo Fernandez and Abrante friend Dario Sugo, then Abrante friend Andre Santos as the box-to-box attacking 8. Baba attack your opponent's box now. Baba Nechaba be defended and stuff like that. You have Pedro Neto if you can start from outside and then start with Abrante friend Nicolas Jackson. I think that is another tactical setup where Enzo Maresca can go into this. I don't know. Let me hear from your comment section. So Enzo Maresca, how will you set up against Palmeiras one? Mind you, Palmeiras one are very, very aggressive. Are very combative. We need a lot of duels. So in your midfield, you need to have a lot of duel winning ability. I know that Reece hasn't really worked centrally. So inverting about but against Flamengo, Chelsea set up in a particularly interesting style. One of those styles can have, maybe for the very first time, Liam Delap and Nicolas Jackson starting next to each other, where Nicolas Jackson will pick up the second balls, Chelsea call long to Abrante friend Liam Delap. Also, I think that maybe this can be a game where Maresca decides to rest Liam Delap because of the fatigue and it's and have Nicolas Jackson start from the top as the main number 9 to play out from the back to take the pace of the game. It's something that can happen from Abrante friend Nicolas Jackson and Abrante friend Liam Delap over there. So the tactical setups are very interesting. I think that the game one hinges on Chelsea's ability to manage the intensity of the game. Now, let me explain. You know, everyone I'm matching. So it's not going to be bad intensity like 7 p.m. match. To begin with the US of the temperature might have come down. Now, managing the intensity is on the point of view of the facts in America for, Independence Day. There are a lot of people that will come to the stadium. The Brazilians and South Americans, only a lot of America. I think that they will come to the stadium a lot. Like against Flamengo, Chelsea needed to manage the intensity, slowing down the game. Because fans in the doors watching Chelsea fans. You need to slow down the game. You need to be calmer. You need to find the options to play through the thirds and then wait for opportunities to come. So game ni be pinting. Then that is where see my friend Palmeiras will grow in confidence. They'll grow in confidence in the sense that they'll win a lot of second balls. Fans will begin to charge them up. Chelsea will begin to get yellow cards. Over make a mistake because South Flamengo game, it was lost in about 3 or 5 minutes. Yeah, by halftime, quickly the intensity was raised by Flamengo for their fans picked it up a notch or 2 higher. Then quickly there was some chance Messi. Then Chelsea made a mistake with a foul. Then after Sapo and the buy, almost first one, Chelsea defended. Then they came up with the second one. Then red card Nicolas Jackson. Within 5 minutes, the game was won. It's going to be a long game. One of the things that Chelsea can do very well is that, say, Joao Pedro Beba, Chelsea can try to kill off the game very early. Senegal, by the time the game goes, the game is already gone. Then they are chasing the game. Then you take the sting out of the game. One man game boring. One man calm. One man then after that, you get your results. So one year so one year that's what I'm give and yes, the intensity of the game for the Brazilians is higher. It's always high. And you need to manage your money, man. Or you need to make sure say at the end of the day, Chelsea will go in like that. So it can either be a 4-3-3 with Enzo Fernandez, Dario Sugo, and your bench friend Andre Santos. Then up top you have Liam Delap, Cole Palmer, and your bench friend Pedro Neto. Then back four because Benoit out. In fact, in the pre-match press conference, they didn't ask specifically about Benoit. If Benoit is back, I want to have Benoit back into the team. Benoit, any bench friend Levi Cole, Marco Correa, any bench friend James. Then the back three now becomes Levi, Benoit, and Reese. Then Marco Correa keeps the weight. Cole Palmer comes inside. Then Chelsea can have a box midfield. So at the base of the box, you have Enzo Fernandez, Dario Sugo in the first phase. And then you have Andre Santos and Abrante friend Cole Palmer on the left and right, respectively. Then you keep the width with Marco Correa, Pedro Neto on the other side, and then have Abrante friend Nicolas Jackson. I think that Jackson should start this game. I'm saying about beat my rest Abrante friend Liam Delap because we are a lot of the games. We are very, very consistently as it goes on. So this can be the 4-3-3 possession nominal. That translates into a 3-box-4, a 3-box-3. When you and a 3-box no, the back three now. And I've told you the importance of the back three to have very bulky, very physical, very combative center backs, quote unquote, without the ball, who will be in Chelsea's rest defense. Very important over them. And then you have two players in the middle of the pack, two DMs, one ball sided, one with not ball dominant, but we need, a lot of the turnovers will lead the counter press or press and stuff like that. And I think that's going to be interesting to watch Dario Sugo today. Or issues can crack because he's not the most comfortable on the ball. But a lot of the people that have watched him saying that he's a boy that really can take things notches higher in terms of intensity, dual winning. Andre Santos, a player behind the dual winning ability, I was sure. Constantly, Andre Santos, we need duels. Constantly, we need duels from the days at Strasbourg or Vasco da Gama. So please, he wins a lot of duels. If Chelsea really, really can go into it, these are the tactical setups. Again, I think that maybe it's high time. Chelsea individual ability also stood up. The likes of Cole Palmer, Money and the other. Maybe Enzo Maresca could try to reward Christopher and Nkunku, who in the second half were very good. Same for Branche Freno, Kenan Drisby, who in the second half against Benfica were very good. But this is a big opportunity for Chelsea. Big opportunity for them to go into the Club World Cup semi-final, possibly against Al Hilal and then Montreal. In any of those two sides, Chelsea will fancy going to the final. It's going to be more difficult against Hilal, very, very difficult today against Palmeiras and now Madrid. Even more so tricky against Team Friend in Montreal. But Enzo Maresca, like he says, fancies that this game will be a very good one. And I think one of the things that's very interesting to talk about is that Maresca in every big game, doesn't seem to be complacent. On yen agents very complacent. Almost every time in every big game, yes, Maresca is patient, is calm, almost planning, almost plotting, and they plan as to what they want to do. Something that I find very, very interesting if Maresca and then the Mantian are able to do today and then gets the results against Team my friend Palmeiras. Easy. What are your predictions then? We're Chelsea now, what are your predictions? And now I'm a Madrid phobia minimum. Oh, Masa, you be Chelsea free against me or more. I want to know what your predictions are in terms of watching up game at Chelsea, any Palmeiras, and how much we game at Chelsea, any Palmeiras, what are your predictions? Do you think Chelsea can win? Do you think it's a very difficult? So Chelsea beating Russia, what are your score lines now? So Chelsea team, why do you think that Chelsea ain't so much, against Team my friend in Palmeiras? And what should Chelsea do to be able to win? Who will comment section? Oh, your boss said this. Well, let me also hear from you in terms of Nico Williams' issue. How exactly do you feel? How exactly do you feel about Nico Williams in sense? Do you think Barcelona have been short stint? Do you think Laporta man do you think it was always going to be difficult for the young man to accept Barcelona, given all of the issues that are going on? And let me hear from you on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. We'll also hope that a lot of the things that we've heard about Partey isn't true. We hope say and we remind him in a lot of prayers on him because Partey is one of us. Partey is our brother essentially. and we hope say Sunday morning, and you're no credit. Draw curtains, no mercy. You best we'll come back again in the evening. I mean, I my baby 8, 7, 7:30, 1 like we've always told you to subscribe, turn your notification 10, choose all. Send a your bar, wait to enjoy analysis. Hey, Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. I'll see you. Bye bye.